this project, I am using the Red Heart yarn, and I found this at Walmart, and I'm going to be using it in black. My daughter is a fashion photographer, and the girl who I'm making this for is an extra large. She is size extra large, and she has, I believe her cup size is a double D. So my daughter's really big on fashion for all sizes, and this bra is going to be a little bit bigger than the other bras that I have made, but I will show you how to customize the bras. I am also using this little tool right here. I have a lot of different hooks in this tool, but the hook size that I will be using is 4.25 millimeters, which is known as either a G or 6. So it's this bad boy right here. Actually, I'll put it up right now, and it will be right over here, the sizing chart. And the way that I size for this is I go ahead and measure right under the bust line, so right under the boobs. And it's up to you how much of coverage you want. I like to measure right at the end and then come all the way right at the end over here. What you also can do is just measure like right in through here and then come in right in through here. So for this one in particular, I have my measuring tape somewhere here. My daughter is a 14, so that's pretty much like standard. I've noticed is anywhere from like 12 to 14 for kids. This one again is going to be a plus size, so I'm going to use a 17.5. So I'm going to create a chain that is 17.5 inches long. Now the way that I start my chain, and this is very beginner friendly, I am going to twist one more time. This will give me a slip knot. I'm going to grab my working string, pull it through. Then I should have a little hook like this, little loop. So I'm going to stick my needle in that loop, tighten it up. Now the first chain that I'm going to create is I'm going to wrap the hook around and pull through. That will allow me to make a chain. So I'm just going to continue making my chain until I reach 17.5 in measurement. Okay, so once you are done with that, and I kind of measured it out to make sure that my chain is about that long, right in through here. I know my sizing chart only goes up to a large, but I just kind of tried to increase with the numbers or the measurements that they gave me. So now we are at the end. We are going to do a double crochet. And if you don't know how to do a double crochet, I will show you. You are going to place your thumb right at the end right here, because that is where we ended off. And I'm going to chain an additional 2. 1, 2. Now right where we ended off, which is this chain right here, I am going to do a double crochet inside of that loop right there. So I'm going to do what's called yarn over. I'm going to move my hook, yarn it over, I'm going to stick my hook inside of that stitch, stick my hook inside of the stitch, then I'm going to pull through. I now have 3. I'm going to yarn over and pull through on 2. Then I will have 2. Going to yarn over and pull through on 2 till I have 1. So now I'm going to go into the next stitch. So you can see there's that stitch. I'm going into the next stitch. I'm going to yarn over, place my hook in that stitch, pull through. I now have 3, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through. As you can see, it's starting to create a long stitch like that. So I'm going to do that all the way through. I'm going to yarn over, move into my next available stitch, pull through, pull through, pull through. Yarn over my next available stitch, pull through, pull through, pull through. So we are going to do these double crochets all the way through, and then meet me back. Okay, so I am all done with my double crochets. Now I'm going to move over my work just like this. Let me move so you can see me better. I am going to work in 3s. So I'm going to chain 1, 2, 3. And then I'm going to count the 3rd stitch. So I don't count this stitch right here because that's what we're in right here. I'm gonna go 1, 2, and 3. Once I get to my 3rd stitch, I'm gonna open it up just like that so I can see what I'm working with. I'm going to do 3 double crochets in that 1 stitch. So I'm going to go yarn over, inside of the stitch, pull through, pull through. I'm going to do that 3 times. So there's my stitch right here. Going to yarn over, pull through, pull through, yarn over, pull through, pull through. So I just created 3 double crochets in that 1 single stitch. Now I'm going to add 1 chain, just 1 chain, and then I'm going to go back in that same stitch. So I'm going to do 3 more double crochets in that same stitch. So I'm going to yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through. So I have a total of 6 double crochets in 1 stitch. So I have 3 double crochets, a chain of 1, and then 3 more double crochets. Whenever you are done with that, as you can see, if you fan it out, it'll start to look like a little shell. Really pretty. Okay, so you guessed it. We are going to skip 3 because we are working in 3. So I'm going to skip 1, 2, 3. So I'm actually going in my 4th one. Skip 3. I'm going to do a double crochet in that skip 3. I'm going to do the double crochet in the 4th. So I'm going to yarn over, pull through, and I am just doing 1 double crochet in that one, just 1. I'm going to skip 3 once again, so I will land on my 4th. I'm going to do the same exact thing I did with the shell. So I'm going to do 3 double crochets. There's 1, then I'm going to go in that same hole, that same stitch. There's 2. And then a double crochet in that same stitch. After you do 3 double crochets in that same stitch, you chain 1, and then you are going to do an additional 3 in the same stitch. Yarn over, 1, yarn over, 2, yarn over, 3. And it's just a pattern from there. So we are going to skip 3, 1, 2, 3, and then you can identify them because it's the loop on the top, 1, 2, 3. So we're working into our 4th, and that is our single crochet. So I'm going to go over, I'm sorry, double crochet, single, double crochet in a single. I'm so sorry. Double crochet in a single. So just 1 right in through there. And we're just repeating that pattern. So if you want to slow it down or you want to rewind, but just a recap, we are doing 3 to create the shell, 1, and then 3 in the same hole. So it becomes 6 to a shell. Then we're doing 8 double crochet in 1 and then another shell. Double crochet in 1 and then another shell. Okay, so all done with that part, and you should have a really pretty band just like this. So I'm going to flip over, move along. So I'm going to flip this over. Now if you take a look in all of the shells, that one stitch, that one chain that you did, it created a little hole or a little pocket. So, excuse my nails, oh my goodness, they're horrible, but inside of that little hole, that's where we are going to create another shell. So if you take a look at each of the shells, there's that hole or that pocket from that one chain that you did. So right at the end, I am going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3. I'm going to yarn over, double crochet in that hole that I created from the shell, and I'm going to double crochet 3 because I'm creating another shell inside of that hole. So double crochet 1, 2, and I'm working on 3, same exact thing that we just did, and then I'm going to chain 1 and then another 3 double crochets in that same hole. So double crochet 1 in that same hole, double crochet 2 in that same hole, double crochet 3 in that same hole. So you have a total of 6, but the 3 chain 1 separates and then the other 3. So I just created another little shell or a little fan in that hole. Now I'm going to chain just 1, and I am not going to do the double crochet in the 1 again. I'm just going to jump right over to the next shell, and right inside of that shell there's that hole. So I'm going to yarn over, and I'm going to do the same exact thing in that hole. I'm going to double crochet 3 times. 1, 2, 3, chain 1, going into that same exact hole, double crochet an additional 3 times. So it gives us a total of 6. 2 and 3. So it's going to start to fan out just like that. So I'm going to move on. Now looking for my other, there's my other shell. There's that hole inside my other shell. Again, I'm going to chain 1 just to get me there. Yarn over, stick my hole in through that little shell. And I will continue doing this until I get all the way back to the end. Okay, so I'm right at the end. I created this really pretty lace looking thing. Now that I'm at the end, as you can see, there's kind of that V or disconnection right here. So just to connect it, I'm going to stitch 1, 2, 3, so a chain of 3. Going to place my hook right over here. In this stitch, I'm just gonna kind of place it right there. I don't even know where I'm going in through, but I'm just going to lock that in with a single stitch. Just lock it in like this so it locks in together. I'm going to pull this out, cut, and secure by just pulling it through. Okay, I figured I would bring my scissors so I can show you. If you want, you can continue doing this. Just don't forget to stitch a chain of 3, and you can keep going on, keep going in through your little shells and creating more and more of a band. It can go all the way down to your belly if that's what you're wanting. I'm going to stop right here. I'm gonna snip this off. I'm gonna get this tail, bring it in, and then I'm just going to pull at it just like that. And just keep pulling so it's nice and secure, nice and tight. Take that little tail off. And there we have it. There's our band. So now we are going to move on to the cup size. Okay, so now I am going to, I'm gonna place the cup size right over here, and this is pretty much my standard measurements for the cup size. This cup size that I will be doing, or I will be doing for this particular person is a double D. So I'm gonna have to customize a little bit. I'm gonna have to make it just a little bit wider than usual. But I just keep my measuring tape handy, and I just keep moving along with that. And I'll show you in just a bit what I mean by that. Usually the way that you measure this out, and I'm going to create, once again, I'm going to create my slip knot. This is going to be for my very first cup. And I'm going to create a chain. So I usually create a chain of 6, but for this particular one, since it's bigger, I'm going to create a chain of 8. So just depending really on your size, usually standard create a chain of 6, and by standard I mean like a B cup to a C cup, but since we're all the way up to a D cup, I'm gonna go bigger with an 8. And usually you can measure your chain by the nipple. I know this is kind of crazy, but you can measure the chain by the nipple all the way down to the lower bust. So if you measure that chain, you'll be perfectly fine if it's for yourself. So go on ahead and create your chain. Okay, now that I've created my chain, I'm going to go into the stitch right beside it. So if you take a look at my stitches, I'm going into the stitch right beside it, and I'm going to be doing a single crochet, so not the stitch that your yarn is in, the one beside that. I'm going to stick my hook through, and I'm going to pull through once again, and that is a single crochet. Going to stick my hook into the one right next to it, and I'm just going to do single crochets all the way through. Going to pull through. I should have 2 on my hook, and then I'm going to pull through. So I'm going to stick my hook into the one right beside it, pull through. I should have 2 on my hook, and then pull through. So you'll just continue this all the way down. Stick my hook in, pull through. Stick my hook in, pull through. All the way until you get to the end. Okay, once you get to the very end, I have just created a stitch inside that one. So I'm going to do another stitch inside that same hole, 1 single crochet stitch in that hole. So now I have a total of 2 single crochets in that same hole. Then I'm going to chain 1 and then do another 2 single crochets in that same hole. So there's 1, 2 more. So I have a total of 4. So I have 2, chain 1, and then another 2 in that same stitch. And what that does is it creates movement, so it creates a circle like this, and it allows me to go around. Then I'm going to go into the next stitch available, so the next stitch right beside it, and I'm going to do a single crochet in that next stitch. Now I'm going to go in and I'm going to do single crochets all the way down. So in the next stitch, single crochet, the next stitch, single crochet, until I get all the way down. Just made a complete circle coming all the way in through here. Once I get to the end of that, I'm going to turn my work over. Turn my work over. Then I'm going to do 1 chain, and then I'm going to go right next to that one and do a single crochet. Right next to that one, do a single crochet, and I'm just building up. Right next to that one, single crochet. Right next to that one, single crochet, until I get all the way back up to the top. Once I get to the top, I know that it is the top because it starts to go horizontal at first, and then you start to see that it's vertical. So if you fan it out like this, you could see it's the tip top. Then I'm going to do, once again, 1 single crochet, 2 in the same stitch, 2 single crochets, 1 chain, and then another 2 single crochets. So a total of 4 on the tip top in the same stitch, but it's divided by a chain of 1. So as you can start to see, it's starting to be more rectangular. Then that's going to bring me over, and then right next to that I'm going to start doing my single crochets in every single stitch down until I get to the bottom again. Once you get back to the bottom, once again you're going to turn your work over. You're not going to go in through here. Turn your work over, you're going to stitch 1 and then go in and do a single crochet all the way up. Once again, you are just doing the same exact thing. You're moving your way up to the single with the single crochet. We want to leave this flat, and then remember this needs to be a point because this is going to be the cup right in through here. So single crochets until you move all the way up to the top. Then once you move to the top, and again you can identify that it's the top because it's more at a slant. It's that point right up here. See that point? Once you get there, then you are going to do 2 single crochets in that same hole, chain, and then another 2 single crochets in that same hole, and then it'll bring you right back, single crochet, chain 1, and then you're going to do single crochet all the way back up. Same thing here, and then you're just going back and forth until it creates a cup. Okay, so when you are done, it should look something like this. You have the triangle cup. Then you will snip the tail off. And again, just use the sizing chart. So for this one, this is a double D. So the sizing chart says 7 inches in width. So I just measured the 7 inches right here, and then you will do your other cup. Okay, so now that I am done with the cups, I'm going to get the band, and let me put a pillow here so you can see better. I'm going to get the band, I'm going to lay it down like this, and the part that doesn't have the ridges, the flat part, that's the part that you're going to use. And you're going to align it with the cups, just like this. So it's just like that. Okay? So now that I've aligned it, I'm going to stitch, and I'm just going to use my threaded crochet hook, and I'm going really anywhere in through here. There's not really a particular place. I'm pulling it through and pulling through a slip stitch. So a slip stitch is just pulling it right through like this. And I'm doing that all the way down. Okay, so I'm gonna face them together. I'm going to slip through, and I'm just going to randomly stick my needle in, pull through, and do a slip stitch. So a slip stitch is just pulling through the stitch. And I will go in ahead and do that all the way through. you can do a single crochet through it, or you can just do a slip stitch. Entirely up to you. Whatever way that you want to secure it. I'm going through, I had started with a slip stitch, but I'm going through, pulling through both of them. And again, I'm just stabbing it close by like this, just to close it off. So when you are all done, it should look something like this. So you stitched right alongside here, put the two cups together and the band over. So when you pull that band, just like that, it looks beautiful. Okay, so now we are going to end it off with the straps. And I'm gonna start with the straps that go around the neck. So I have created my slip knot. I'm going to stab my needle right through the tip top. I'm going to bring in this yarn. It's going to be a little tough, but bring in this yarn. And I am going to make a chain. I like to make it really long so that they have enough to tie it, wrap it around. So I usually do a chain of around 60. You could do a chain of 60 or 70. I'm gonna do a chain of 60. So going ahead and chain. Now once you have created your chain, I am going to go back into the stitch right beside it. So go back, and I'm going to slip my needle through, my hook through, and I'm going to do a single crochet. So I'm going to pull through and then pull through that double. Single crochet, stick my hook in, pull through, and then pull through the rest. And I'm just moving back, doing single crochets. Okay, so now you are going to work on the sides. So this right here is going to be, this is gonna wrap around the waist. So, wait, it's not gonna wrap around. Okay, so now you are going to start on the sides. So you are going to chain. This is going to wrap around, and this will wrap around and tie in the back. So I'm going to place my hook right where the cup ends. And I'm just gonna stab that in just like I did with the straps. And you can make this pretty much as long as you want to make it. I like to make mine really long just in case. This is an extra large, so just in case it could be used as a extra large, so you can make the chain a little bit longer. You're going to continue on with the chain and do a single crochet right back, just like you did with the straps over here. And here it is. Here's the final outcome, the grand finale. Isn't it beautiful? You should be super proud of yourself for completing it.